All right, guys. Today we took one trade and we hit a break-even trade. This trade was more of a continuation one. It was one from like where I took it like 2 weeks ago, or last week I believe. No, yeah, 2 weeks ago. The one last week Thursday, 2 weeks ago Thursday actually. Matter of fact, this was the same type of setup. It was the same type of continuation play for the market to move down lower. And let's actually, matter of fact, let's go on this side and let's clean the chart and let's give you guys a full breakdown. Hopefully that, yeah, okay. That didn't clean it up. All right. I left that one alone. That's good. Um, Today I was bearish. I was bullish at first, but then whenever I started to see the chop and then the market starting to manipulate lower, we had SMT at the highs too with MVS. That's where everything started to shift. The market over here was moving up higher. Which chart am I on? Hopefully I'm on this one. Yeah, the market started to move up higher. Wow, and reaching above these highs while NQ wasn't. So we had clear SMT at these highs up there. Do this real quick there. And yeah, once we swept those highs, ES did look a lot stronger than NQ, so that's why I took it on NQ. Of course, I'm trying to learn how to trade the weaker asset and just a better asset overall to catch more speed on the trade, and that's why I chose NQ instead of ES, because ES was already sweeping those highs up here that I was showing you, as opposed to NQ not reaching it and having a high resistance run, breaking out of it, stalling around, and then going further, and then now stalling even more. My trade was around here, around the 940 to 950 area. And then eventually the market dumped, met my drawn liquidity, started stalling even more. Now we're just inside of this range. We do have CPI tomorrow. I do believe that's kind of another reason. And again, the news has been all over the place. I won't lie. Like the news events have been all over the place. It usually this second week we would have CPI and PPI, but we would never have. And if like non-farm, average hourly earnings, like certain things like that, we wouldn't have certain news events like this in the same week as CPI, if you know what I mean. And then what else? We didn't have basically NFP the first week, which is pretty weird to me. What else? And then look, we have PPI over here. Usually PPI and CPI are on the same week, so it just makes no sense. I don't know what's going on this month, really. It's just like, it's a weird power 3 on the monthly. I'm not really worried about that, but again, it's just really weird, especially with the news events and the economic calendar. So let's go over this trade though. Let's clean this up again. Daily time frame, we are inside of a range. We are inside of the range, but on this daily candle, one thing is for certain, we can see both sides. It's pretty bizarre, right? We can see this getting swept, and then we can also see this getting swept. So it's more of like a indecision candle. We're sweeping the lows, but we're also sweeping the highs, and we're closing back inside of the range, which again is never a good sign. It's never a good sign because now you have two draws on liquidity. We have this sell side objective right here. Don't mind the buy side. I forgot to change the wording. I need to change that. But buy side, and then we have sell side, right? We're inside of this range. Never good. It's never good. Market conditions usually like this don't ever offer good price delivery, especially if you're inside of a range. We do also have this 4-hour buy side imbalance, but this is where majority of it came through, where we swept the high. We swept the previous candle high, and then we started to dump at 9:30. 1 hour time frame. We don't have much here on the 1 hour, for being truly honest. This was again another objective, the AM session lows. So you'll see this later, where this was another objective, very, very key. And then of course these lows down here are another objective. We are sweeping the lows, but again, we had strong continuation lower. You would want to see a retracement, inversion to continue lower and pushing you down to that objective. If we can get that on 30-minute though, you see these highs. I think we do have SMT with ES, so let's go look. 30-minute. So yeah, we do. You can see ES swept the high. Let's see if we can find an inversion here on this one. Yeah, we can. You can see you can find this inversion right here. This would have been the better trade, honestly. If I would have seen this, I probably would have taken it on this one. Stops, like a 5-point stop, usually around like a 5.2. Just clearly taking it to these lows down here, right there. Nice little. This would have been the trade of the day. I might have put this in the hindsight trade for sure, because clear inversion, clear sweep of the highs, clear rejection, and you also have SMT at these highs up here, and you're sweeping them. So Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful trade. This is all what trapped buyers, trapped aggressive buyers by the passive sellers pushing price lower. And then you have strong aggression here and you're pushing through. And then once you break through this level right here, the market is not what coming back. You're not coming back to those levels because you have strong aggression here from aggressive sellers that continue to push price and melt. And again, passive buyers got absorbed, or the sell side objective right here got absorbed, and it was used as a continuation lower for a redelivery for price to go down lower even further. Again, you have to look at the markets like this. You have to be very advanced, very technical, or else the markets will just grab you from the back and just so again, using every single concept you can use. And then on the 15-minute time frame, we have pretty much a 15-minute inversion fair value gap that formed after the fact at 9:30. Again, just giving you more of a bias to be bearish. And then right there you had that objective met. Again, high, low, higher, high. I don't know if you can see this, but what is a breaker formation right here? Just clear breaker formation right here. For the dogs, right there. And again, what do you use? You use your fib. Boom, boom. We met the 1 standard deviation. Now we're aiming for the 2, which is perfectly aligning with what previous day low. Market is likely going to continue lower, but the delivery, again, it isn't the best delivery, if I'm being truly honest. That's why it's a little bit unfortunate that we got stopped at a little bit early. I'm gonna show you guys why, but yeah, on the 15-minute time frame we had that. 5-minute time frame, we didn't really have much here, honestly. On the 1-minute time frame though, we did have this SIBI and it did get respected. So this is what was the main confluence for me. We had a SIBI got respected. We had a strong continuation lower. Mitigation block holding, showing us a continuation for lower prices, and this is where I entered. So let's go over here on this chart now. Let's show you guys. So on the 1-minute time frame, we entered right here off of this wick. Again, the order block showed a strong continuation, waited for the strong close. We got that and we entered. Not really the best entry, if I'm being truly honest. It was more of a impatient entry. We could have probably waited for the retest, or we could have entered off the SIBI. That would have not been a bad trade either. That would have been more of a continuation type sequence, which would have been good too. Continuation type mixed with a redelivery or rebalance. But again, we also met the first objective too before we even entered. So we met this objective, came back up, and then eventually we started to reject it again. So again, we had our stop loss up here, which was a good area because again, it formed the fair value gap, and then we could have redelivered into it and then pushed down lower, and then met the final objective right here, this one, which would have been a clear 1-to-1, clear 1% trade. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. And then yeah, this was the entry. 15-second time frame though. This is where it gets a little bit more technical. We had a 15-minute inversion fair value gap, redelivered back up into it, had strong displacement. What did we also form? Another one right here, and then eventually we also broke structure. To me, this was more of okay, this right here, all these lows right here, this little sequence right here of all these lows. I was like, all right, the market should hold. The market should hold those levels, and it should continue pushing us lower. We should have strong aggression. We did. Boom. We had strong aggression. I did not want to see the market come back up. I wanted to see it reach this draw on liquidity as soon as possible, and then eventually we came back up. We stopped this out. Was the stop loss placement, not the best in terms of moving it to break even? I don't think so, because again, we faced a little bit of drawdown. We came down. We squeezed it lower. All this right here should be left unfilled, if I'm being truly honest. Or not even that, just where's the balance price range? There really isn't a balance price range. I think we should have just left all this left behind. Should have had strong continuation lower, in my honest opinion, especially if it was a low resistance run, but now it's currently a high resistance. But this is what I would want it to, this is what I would want to expect, honestly. Whenever you break through a key area, not a breakout trader, but still, whenever you break through at a key level, you want to see strong displacement. You can have a small retracement, but you don't want to see it all the way back up here, and then you want to see a strong continuation lower. And that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see this little fair value up here that we have redelivered back up into, and then eventually have a strong continuation lower. But it is what it is. I mitigated risk. I just didn't have much confidence, especially since it wasn't following my entry model. And that was pretty much really the trade idea, honestly. It wasn't the best, but it wasn't the worst, if I'm being truly honest. This type of setup with the narrative and the context wasn't bad, but it's just where were you entering? I was entering on this area all the way down here, get your entry up here, you know, get your entry up here, right here, not down here, you know, like get it up here at least minimum, maximum, you know, and then write it down all the way down here, you know. But yeah, I'm gonna journal this trade. Probably gonna journal the ES1 too. This is probably by far the best one for sure. This 1 minute inversion. There's no 5 minute PDA, right? 3 minute, 2 minute. There's a 3 minute inversion too. Also here, you could have taken, which would have not been bad. Also, if you wanted more like reassurance, you enter right here. Honestly, stops right there, and then just target these lows. That's a 1-to-1 right there. I would have probably wanted to target these right there, if I'm being truly honest. But sometimes you don't get lucky, and you gotta aim for some relative equal lows, and that's perfectly fine also. So this would have been a 1-to-2. So yeah, this would have been a beautiful, beautiful setup. Again, hindsight, but you journal these hindsight trades and you analyze it and you break it down as if it was a trade you took, and then you treat it like it was, and you can review it and you analyze it and you experiment with other type of setups, and you're like, okay, I've seen this before. Even though it was a hindsight trade, it worked out multiple times because I've journaled it and I've collected data upon this type of setup, and boom, you take it, and it's a live trade now instead of a hindsight trade. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, let's go look at the accounts. I know a lot of people like looking at these accounts for some reason. I like looking at the stats. Again, no trades the past 2 days. Again, sitting on my hands, being patient. There's no rush. There's no rush to taking bad setups. Today I did rush into it, I won't lie. But again, I have to reassure myself, have to go back, recollect myself, you know, meditate, journal this trade, review, analyze it, and then come back stronger. You know, simple as that. And again, it's one of those months, again, I've went through this with the economic calendar. It's one of those months where you gotta be patient, bro. But yeah, that's pretty much really it. One is at 700. Again, we just need a 150. Even if I do get a payout, it's gonna be a very, very small payout. I might take it, I'm not even gonna lie. Cause why not? And then they're still gonna tax me either way. So let's do a plus. 703 plus 150. 853 divided that by 2, 426 minus like what, like $50 you're gonna tax you. It's 376 around there. So yeah, not even much if I'm being truly honest. So again, I'm probably gonna try to aim for like a 2R, 1R, 2R trades. My objective was 4R. I don't know how much further we are from it. Oh, my notepad open. I don't have nothing anyways, but other than my trading notes. So 2000 minus 703.7. We need 1.296, which is equivalent. Let's divide this by 500. Equivalent to 2.5R, which is very doable. If I'm being truly honest, very, very doable. With even with the setup we saw today, we probably could have got it. But again, I'm thinking towards waiting towards like the whole end of the month to then request a payout. Because again, it's just like there's no rush to this, and we want to have a buffer. We want to have a nice buffer, but we also want to have a nice payout amount. And we just want to continue following the system, continuing taking A+ setups. Today wasn't really the best. Why? We didn't have an entry model. We entered too late. And the context and narrative, the bias was correct, but there was a better trade idea. And if we just simply were patient and we were scouting every single market correctly and we were super locked in, we would have found it. But we weren't. So that's pretty much really it. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.